I recently completed my latest short documentary film, which I was able to develop, make, and even edit with the help of some incredible AI tools. And I'm here to share with you everything I learned along the way. My name is Vicente, and I'm a 28 years old Chilean filmmaker. On today's episode, we'll take a look at developing the idea with the help of Stable Diffusion and ChatGPT. And finally, I'll share with you the writing process I created for myself, which involves a special little pipeline that includes 3 completely free AI tools. If you missed the first in this 10-part series, here's a trailer for my short film. Enjoy. So tell us, what's your name?
I am Mary Elizabeth Christmas, and I am the original creator of the Christmas holidays. It's true.
Now, since the film will be sent out to film festivals soon, I can't show you the entire thing yet. For now, I need to fill you in on a little backstory. Back in the distant year of 2005, a young boy in Chile learned about a nationwide Christmas short story competition that a magazine happened to be putting up. So the boy wrote a little short story he titled Welcome Christmas. It was an origin story for the holiday, but none like you've heard before. He submitted his story, and lo and behold, he won! Second place, that is. But he still won something. A diploma, to be more specific. With that backstory out of the way, in October of last year, I learned that there was a worldwide Christmas short film competition that Universal Studios happened to be putting up. So kind of like same ballpark, way bigger stakes though. However, this time there was only 2 weeks before the deadline for submitting. So, no way. I don't have any money to hire anyone, so I need to keep it simple. So I was just going to have to let this one go and, find another competition that allows me to create something with time and care. Now that is what any normal person with a modicum amount of self-preservation would have said. But that's not me, goddammit. So let's begin with plan A, adapting my short story from 18 years ago into a short film.
One whimsical and fantastical children's Christmas story later.
Well, it could certainly work as a film, but as an animated short film. So let's move on to plan B, checking my notes for all ideas.
1 hour of notebooks and voice memos later.
Great. None of my ideas really work as a Christmas short film, so it's time for the dreaded plan C, writing something from scratch.
1 long day of achieving nothing later.
Awesome. So not only did I only have 13 days, but I had no idea what to make, and my anxiety at that point was really starting to creep in. Great idea doing this, Paz Vicente. On to plan D, procrastinate the anxiety away. Now, what I couldn't have known at the moment was that 5 minutes into my YouTube binge, I would be reminded of a little program I'd already played with a couple of months earlier called GPT-3. Now, for those of you who think that sounds familiar, that's because the current ChatGPT from OpenAI is constructed on the GPT-3 language model from, you guessed it, OpenAI. And even then, with how basic it was when compared to the current version, of course, I was intrigued to see if maybe it could help me. So I watched one tutorial, I got an account, and then I wrote the following prompt. Give me a list of 10 ideas for Christmas short films. And it wrote a whole bunch of stuff. Some of it was bad, some of it was good, but way too complicated to make. But right as I was about to give up on the tool, I read one word that spiraled me into thought. Documentary. Now that's something I can very easily make on my own. So right there, I had one fundamental pillar for whatever I was going to end up making. It's going to be a Christmas documentary. I need to come up with at least one more fundamental idea, and then I have myself a structure. So what could this Christmas documentary be about? Well, could I adapt my short story into a documentary? Not exactly, but the idea of a documentary about the origin of the Christmas holiday, now that was my fundamental pillar number 2. I was going to make a short Christmas documentary about the untold origin of the holiday. With these 2 ideas firmly in place, I could now set my metaphorical clothesline and begin freely hanging more and more details onto it. And my short story turned out to have a bunch of fun details that could be adapted into the new story. I was already picturing the whole thing in my head, so that was my cue to bring out my phone, open my voice memos, and begin recording my ideas away. That's when I began to think out loud about things like, well, since it's a very old tradition, whoever's responsible would have to be old, right? So let's make it a sweet old lady like in Titanic. And maybe the holiday is named after her, so her name could be something Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. At that point, you could say I had 3 fundamental pillars for the strongest clothesline ever. My mind was just racing with wild different concepts and ways for adapting my short film into the narrative. And I was recording all of it without any sort of self-censoring. And before I knew it, I had a 15-minute voice memo that's pretty much 70% of what you see and hear in the final film. Because I was already so creatively activated at the time, I wasn't ready to put it down anytime soon. So this is when I jumped straight into my self-made pre-visualization pipeline, which I'll now share with you, and it involves 3 completely free AI tools. Through this method of creating a previs of my film before even writing down a script, I'm 100% certain that anything on the final script will go into the final product. Remember, there's only 13 days till the deadline, so I cannot afford to be writing and shooting pages that I won't actually end up using. So let's get into the process, shall we? The first tool that I use is a little thing called Adobe Podcast. This one is a link you can find on the AI resources on my website. The link is in the description below. You just need to have or create an Adobe account. It's completely free. Then you go to the link, and once there, you import the voice memo you just created. And that's it. No joke. Now, what is this tool doing? Well, let me just show you real quick. This is what it actually sounds like in this room. And this is what it sounds like as soon as I click that button. That's incredible, right? And I didn't even have to tinker with any sort of parameters. You simply import audio that sounds like shit, and it gives you back a voice that sounds crisp, clear, almost like it was recorded in a podcast studio. I guess hence the name. It's a wonderful free tool. Now, why are we cleaning up our voice memo? Well, to be honest, if I had to pay or even tinker with any kind of thing in order to get it clean, then I wouldn't do it. But since it's free and that simple, it really helps unify the sound of recordings that I may have gotten at different times and places during a day, because I just keep opening the same voice memo and just keep adding on to it. So when I listen to it, I'm just constantly distracted by the horrible discontinuity of the recording itself, rather than paying attention to what is being said. Also, cleaning up my audio in one click like this will really help the third AI tool down the line. So do it. It's free. Just do it. The second tool is a completely free audio editing software called Audacity. The link can also be found in the AI resources on my website. I will import the audio file I just cleaned up into Audacity, and then I'm going to edit it. Literally, like I would edit any video in a video timeline. First, I'll cut the parts I don't like or the retakes. I'll move some ideas and sentences back and forth in order to help with the flow of the narrative. And once I have something that I feel plays really well, I may even add some temp music to it and maybe even an image and export it out, which is exactly what I did with this. I made an image with stable diffusion through this awesome website called Playground AI. This website lets you make 1,000 images per day for free. The link is on the AI resources on my website. So after rendering my previs, I had gone from thinking and brainstorming to a tangible approximation of my final product in 4 hours. As you can imagine, that is really, really motivating. You're not just looking at a page with a bunch of text while wondering if it'll work in execution. You already have to abstract yourself a lot for these kind of projects, so any kind of tool that allows you to get closer to what the product may be, well, that is something that you should definitely look into, right? And then the final tool in the pipeline, and the reason we cleaned up our audio, is a little something called YouTube. Believe it or not, YouTube does have AI in it, especially when it comes to the automatic captioning. When you upload a video into YouTube and you specify the language for said video, the AI will listen to the audio and it'll transcribe that into text automatically for free. Sure, it's not perfect and there's no punctuation, but it really gets the ball rolling, because once you get your transcription, you can just copy and paste that into whatever text editing software you use, and then just go through it proofreading and punctuating it along the way. By the end of your read, you'll have your revised transcript. It's clearly simpler to focus on revising an already transcribed text than starting from scratch, right? So after I did that, not only did I have my previs, but now I had my script in written form. Do you see what I mean by using these tools to your advantage? Now, there is one extra AI tool that I sometimes include into my pipeline, and that's ChatGPT, baby. So when I have something like a 30-minute voice memo and I know that I was bouncing around back and forth between ideas and also repeating myself a bunch of times, I clean that recording on Adobe Podcast, I put it into Audacity and edit it, I upload that into YouTube as private, I copy the transcription it gives me, and then I paste said transcription into ChatGPT. And that's when I go, "Dear ChatGPT, I wrote these notes down. Please, could you help me synthesize them into a list of detailed main ideas? Give them an order from most general to most specific. Oh, and also try to bring forward any inconsistencies in my ideas. I would very much appreciate that. Thank you very much, Vicente. Hugs and kisses, hugs and kisses." And believe it or not, it does it pretty well. This is literally like having a creative Jarvis assistant like the one in Iron Man. You want feedback for your genius idea? Ask ChatGPT, and it'll probably give you a lot more informed feedback on the topics you're asking about than just your friends. Like, your mom and your dad will probably not really know much about, say, quantum physics, whereas ChatGPT is trained on a giant database of information, which includes a ton of information about quantum physics. I'm not saying only get feedback from ChatGPT. I'm also not saying only do my voice memo system. Not at all. The point of me sharing my experience with you is just so that through the example of someone else using these tools in their own way, maybe you can figure out what that own way looks like for you and your project. So go ahead, jump into my website and check out the links for all these tools. So that was fun. If you want to, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I do post there sometimes. But up until next time, everyone, bye-bye.